Good afternoon. We celebrate this afternoon the just extraordinary witness that these young men and women before all of us have provided and will continue to provide through their passionate commitment to children. They have, in the words of Tolkien, kindled hearts in a world grown chill. In so doing, these teachers and leaders have been driven by a spirit that Dr. Martin Luther King characterized as divine dissatisfaction, to become the battering rams of the forces of justice. There are few figures in education in America today who have more fully embodied divine dissatisfaction than our honorable commencement speaker this afternoon, Dr. Howard Fuller. Over the course of a career that spanned more than a quarter of a century, Dr. Fuller has served tirelessly as an advocate for children in need, a pioneer in the field of K-12 education reform, an architect of some of the most important education policy initiatives in the history of the United States. A former student at St. Boniface Catholic School in Milwaukee and a graduate of Carroll College, Dr. Fuller earned his doctorate from Marquette University in 1986. After serving as a community organizer in urban areas throughout the country, Dr. Fuller was appointed superintendent of Milwaukee Public Schools in 1991. He garnered national attention with his decision to help design the city's voucher program, the first such initiative in the United States. Over the course of his tenure, Dr. Fuller was a virtual force of nature in reforming Milwaukee's schools, and his work inspired similar reforms in urban areas throughout the nation. In 1995, Dr. Fuller founded the Institute for the Transformation of Learning at Marquette. In 2000, he founded the Black Alliance for Educational Options, the nation's leading organization for broadening educational opportunity for African American families. His work has led to the creation of more than a dozen publicly funded school choice programs, which presently provide educational opportunity to nearly 200,000 low-income children. Notre Dame graduates, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm Notre Dame welcome to a lifelong educator, a tireless advocate for kids, and a true witness of what it means to cultivate what our Pope recently called an audacious hope in the future through Catholic education, Dr. Howard Fuller.
I want to say good afternoon, and I want to thank Father Tim for that wonderful introduction. And I want to thank all of the people who are connected to ACE for being such a gracious host. And what was really cool, man, was they sent a plane out to Wyoming. So that was pretty cool. So I have to say, in all honesty, when people give these graduation speeches, they always say, like, I'm really honored to be here. And, a lot of times it's sort of bogus, but I really want to say I am truly honored to be here. And the reason why I am honored to be here is because of the work that those of you who are in front of me, who are graduating, have done. I cannot tell you what an inspiration it is to hear about your work and to know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis for our children. Because when you're out here in this battle to change the way that America deals with its children, people often ask me, why are you doing this? And I have a very simple answer. I believe deep in my heart and in my soul that our children are our most precious gift from God, and that it is our responsibility, with God's guidance, to love them, to nurture them, to care for them, and to make sure that every single one of them is educated. Because if we truly believe in democracy, you cannot have a democracy without an educated populace. And we cannot have an America that we truly believe in if large numbers of our young people, because they're black or brown and because they're poor, that they do not get a quality education. And I tell these people all the time that we can't build enough gated communities to keep them away from us. And if we truly believe in what we say, and if we truly believe that our children mean everything to them, how can we continue to allow for so many of them not to be educated? It is simply un-American for us to happen. And so when I look out at those of you who are here this afternoon, I really understand the meaning that graduation is an oxymoron. Because what it really is an end and a beginning. And I know for many of you, you got into ACE thinking, well, hey, I'm going to be in here a couple years, and I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to go out, and I'm going to do the real thing. And what I hope has happened is that you've discovered the real thing. And that what has happened is that you're hooked. Because I tell young people who work with me, and they're tired of hearing this, I only want 25 years. That's all I want. And so what I'm hoping is that as you've gotten out there and worked in these schools and see what you can do and see what the need is, and those of you who are in the leadership program, going back as principals, that I hope that on those worst days, that you'll remember how important the work is that you're doing. There is no more important work to be done in America than what you're doing. And just think, during these worst moments, what Paulo Freire said in Pedagogy of the Oppressed, that the real mission of education is not to prepare young people to go into the current situation and conform to it, but it is to prepare them to be able to engage in the practice of freedom. This whole idea that they can be a part of transforming their world. So when you're there and you're dealing with these kids who got issues, and you're struggling to try to figure out how come they don't understand what I just said, just know that you'll never really know necessarily the impact that you're having. Because even though that one that's in the back that you think is never, ever listening to what you said, you're probably changing his or her life. So I want you to think about this, and I've said it to a lot of people. A lot of times when politicians come around, they used to, for the last several years, they've been talking about how it takes a whole village to save a child. And I'm getting tired of that, because most of these people ain't never been to the village, couldn't find the village with MapQuest. And so, so when I read Friedman's book, The World is Flat, I was so happy to see a new African parable. And what it is, it says that in Africa, every day a gazelle gets up. And the gazelle knows that if it can't run faster than the fastest lion, it's going to get killed. Every day in Africa, a lion gets up, knowing if it can't run faster than the slowest gazelle, it's going to starve. Either way, when the sun comes up, they both start running. And what's happening in our world is every day, young people all over this world are getting up when the sun comes up. And these young people are running faster than our best young people. And so if they're running faster than our best young people, what chance do the young people that you're working with, what chance will they have if we do not figure out a way to educate them? And I just want to leave you with this notion. Sometimes you're concerned because the whole class didn't get it. And we always want the whole class to get it. Like I have this Harriet Tubman view of the world, you know, where Harriet Tubman used to get up every day and she would say, I want to end slavery, but in the meantime, I'm going to rescue every slave that I can. And I get up every day saying, I want this whole system to be better. But you know what? I have a moral responsibility. While I'm trying to make the whole system better, I have a moral responsibility to rescue every single child that I can. And that is what you do every day. And I just want you to understand how important it is to save one child. Because you know what? You never know what that one child is going to do. You never know if that's going to be the one to find a cure for cancer. You never know. And so every day, that work that you do to save a child is so important. God bless you and good luck.